Welcome to the third preparatory stage science course. I am Rania Hasabo and I am going to be your teacher here during this course. The goal of this work is not only for the exam, but also for understanding and linking information to the life around you. Wish you all the best of luck. Now let's start. If you own a factory, it will be very important to record the rate of production, profit and loss. This may be done on paper, but by passing time, the paper will become a book in a folder in a library. This will make it more difficult to follow your plan. But if the data was recorded in a table and represented by a graph, by a single look, the level of your plant can be determined. Also, if you are a doctor, you can record the patient's condition and the effect of treatment on his health. If you are a teacher, you can record the level of your students and so on. Therefore, physics depends heavily on graphs and tables. Let's apply this on our study. Unit 1, Lesson 2. Graphic representation of moving in a straight line. Now we will try to draw graph representing the motion. Firstly, the object position remains constant as time passes. After 1 second, the car is still standing at the tree. After 2 seconds, at the tree. After 3 seconds, at the tree. So, we draw straight line parallel to time axis if the object position remains constant as time passes. So, this graph represents the object at rest. Graph between distance and time represented by straight line parallel to time axis. While here, you can draw graph between distance and time, and we can determine the speed of this bird and draw graph between speed and time. This bird changes its position. After 1 second, it covers 5 meters. After another 1 second, it will cover another 5 meters and reaches to 10 meters. After another 1 second, it covered another 5 meters and reaches to 15 meters. After another 1 second, it covered equal distance and reaches to 20 meters. So it covered equal distance at equal period of time. So the speed of this bird is regular or uniform speed, as it covers equal distance at equal period of time. And this graph represented by a straight line passes with the original point between distance and time. If we calculate the speed of this bird from the relation distance over time, 5 over 1 equal 5, 10 over 2 equal 5 meter per second. So we detected that this object moves with regular speed, is moved with constant speed. If we draw graph, so when we draw graph between its speed and time, its speed doesn't change, remains constant at 5. After 1 second, its speed 5. After 2, 5. And so on. So its speed doesn't change, and the graph represented by a straight line parallel to time axis. بس المرة دي between speed and time, while here between distance and time. Take care. يبقى عندي two graphs شبه بعض. Both of them represented by a straight line parallel to time axis, but the first one between distance and time, while the second one between speed and time. This means the object at rest, while here it moves with regular or uniform speed. We have 3 cases. The first one, here we didn't care about distance or time, but interest was in direction and location only. So the changes here in position, it transferred from point A to B. While here the interest was in distance and time, determines the rate of a change in distance. But here the interest was in the speed change. The speed increased as time passes. So here we have a new concept, which means the rate of a change in speed. The rate of a change in speed, which is the acceleration. So motion means a change in object position, while speed means the rate of a change in distance, while acceleration means the rate of a change in speed. When you sit in a car next to the driver and the car starts moving from rest in a straight line, you note that the car speed increases gradually as time passes. So we use a physical quantity called acceleration, which expresses the change in car speed in 1 second. Now try to draw a graph represents the motion from these tables. The first table, speed on y-axis and time on x-axis. After 10 seconds, the speed becomes 5 meters per second. After 20, it becomes 10. After 30 seconds, it becomes 15. After 50, it becomes 25. While here, between velocity and time, at the beginning, the speed of car is 50. The speed is 50 meters per second. After 10 seconds, it becomes 30. After 20, 20. After 30 seconds, 10. After 50 seconds, it becomes 0. What is the difference between the two graphs? The first one is represented by straight line passes with the original point. And in this graph, in this table, the speed increase. While here, the speed of object decrease as time passes. In the two cases, the speed changes. From the first graph, we notice that the velocity will increase, and we describe the motion of this object as positive acceleration. While when the speed decreases, we describe the motion as negative acceleration. In the two cases, the speed will change. In the first graph, the speed will increase, while in the second one, the speed will decrease. Third graph between velocity and time. We have in your table numbers between distance and time, but you can calculate its speed from the relation V equal d over t. D over t, the speed is 5 meters per second, 10 over 2, 5 meters per second, 5. We notice that the speed doesn't change and the object covers equal distance at equal period of time. Here we draw graph represents the relation between the speed and time. The speed of object doesn't change. After 1 second, 5, after 2, 5. So it represents by a straight line parallel to the time axis. Its speed doesn't change. Its speed doesn't change means the object moves with regular speed. While the acceleration means a change in object speed. So when the object moves with regular speed, its acceleration becomes 0. لازم عشان اقول في acceleration يحصل change في الفيلوسيتي، يحصل change في السبيد، يحصل increase or decrease. لكن هنا السبيد constant 5 فما حصلش تغيير، ماشي 5 يبقى ايه؟ يبقى الاكسلريشن no acceleration if the object move with regular speed. As acceleration means the change of object speed, the rate of change of object speed at certain direction. يعني المينينج بتاع الاكسلريشن معناه change in object speed. While here the speed of object is constant, so the acceleration equal 0. How can we determine the acceleration of this car? It travels from point X into Y. Start its motion by 20 meters per second. After 20 seconds, its speed becomes 100. Acceleration means the rate of change of speed. To calculate the acceleration, you have a new rule. Acceleration equal the change, delta means the change of object speed divided the change in time, which means V2 minus V1 divided T2 minus T1. From the previous, we can calculate the acceleration, which equal 100 minus 20 divided after 20 seconds means from 0 to 20. 20 minus 0. So acceleration equal 40. We always determine the unit from the rule. Acceleration equal delta V over delta T. V meter per second divided second. So the unit of acceleration is meter per second square. Per second square. Meter per second square. منين السكوير؟ الفيلوسيتي متر بير سكند والتايم بير سكند يبقى انا سكند مرتين فبقت متر بير سكند سكوير. And you can make a magic triangle for acceleration which equal delta V over delta T. We will work by only one unit, meter per second square, not kilometer per hour square. Meter per second square only. We have two examples. The first one, the speed of car changes from 0 into 20, then into 40. While here from 10 into 40 into 80. Here the speed will change and increase. And here the speed will increase. What is the difference between them? From the rule of acceleration equal delta V over delta T, you can determine the acceleration. In the first part, acceleration equal delta V means V2 minus V1. V2 minus V1 divided T2 minus T1. Acceleration equal 20 minus 0 at rest means its speed equal 0 divided 10, which equal 2 meter per second square. Try to determine the acceleration here. Acceleration equal v240 minus 20 divided 10, which equal 2 meter per second square. You notice that the acceleration doesn't change. This car moves with uniform acceleration. From the rule V A equal V over T, acceleration equal 40 V2 minus V1 divided 10. After 10 seconds means from 0 into 10. Means 10 minus 0. 3 meter per second square. The acceleration here 80 minus 40 divided after 10 seconds means from 0 into 10. 10 seconds, which equal 4 meter per second square. Here the car move with non-uniform acceleration. When a car covered equal distance at equal period of time, it says that the car move at a uniform speed. While if the speed changes by equal value at equal period of time, it says that the car move at uniform acceleration or regular acceleration. بالراحة احنا اتفقنا في السبيد means change in distance. If the object distance is changed by equal value at equal period of time, change distance means that this object move with uniform speed. If the speed of car changes by equal value يعني اتغيرت من rest between زادت 20 تاني وتحولت ل 40 هتزيد 20 تاني وتحول ل 60 means the speed changes by equal value at equal period of time means the object move with uniform acceleration. لكن لو بيتغير بسرعات مش ثابته يعني كان 10 بعد كده بقى 40 يبقى زاد 30 من 40 ل 80 يبقى هو زاد 40 كده هو ماشي بيحصل increase للسبيد بس مش with uniform acceleration. We have closed the definition. Motion means the change of object position. Speed means a change in object distance. Uniform speed or regular speed means the speed of object change by equal distance at equal period of time. Acceleration means a change of object speed. Uniform acceleration means change of object speed by equal value at equal period of time. This lesson will including the graph representation of moving in a straight line. But in general, what is the importance of graph and table in our life? Physical phenomena can be described and understood in many ways. We choose graph and table to describe this phenomena in an easier way. From here, give reason. Physicists use other mathematical relation like graph and table. Number 1 predicts the relation between certain physical quantities. Number 2 understands the practical result. Number 3 describes the physical phenomena in an easier way. سؤال مهم وبيجي كتير. طيب number 1 predict the relation between certain physical quantity يعني ايه؟ زي ما احنا كده عملنا relation between السبيد والديستانس وكانت direct relation وبتوين السبيد والتايم وكانت inverse relation. ينفع احدد اي relation between any two variables. You can record the result of any experiment in table. From table, draw graph. By a single look you can determine the result good or bad. And number 3 describes the physical phenomena in an easier way. فعلا by single look you can describe the physical phenomena and detect the type of motion. Like these graphs, which represent regular motion, uniform speed, non-uniform speed, irregular motion, positive uniform acceleration, negative uniform acceleration, the object at rest. Thanks for listening.